Tian Hao blankly let Lu Jinian feed her, one mouthful at a time, until she shook her head at him, too full to eat any more. Lu Jinian didn't push her. He put the chopsticks down and shot Madame Chen a look. She instinctively knew to take the tray away and walk out of the room. Lu Jinian took the pillows behind Tian Hao away for her to lay down, not forgetting to pull the covers over her. Tian Hao had slept for so long. Even though her body was weak, she wasn't very sleepy. She was a little bored of just laying there, and so she wanted to get up to grab her phone, but then, Lu Jinian, who had just pulled the covers over her, said, "What do you want to do?" Tian Hao, who was stunned for a moment, lifted her head and innocently looked up at him, saying, "Get my phone." Lu Jinian didn't say a word, but walked to the coffee table, picked up her phone, and handed it over to her. Tian Hao sat up again, embarrassed, and took her phone. She randomly browsed through some websites, but she couldn't get into it at all. Every now and then, her eyes would look over at Lu Jinian, who was sitting on the sofa. Since they've known each other, at the calmest times of their relationship, he would always be cold and distant in front of her. However, today, he was so considerate and gentle. There were even hints of docile indulgence and spoiling, which left her a little embarrassed and at a complete loss. Also, when her stomach was in pain, he had bought her medicine. When she continuously made NGS, and she came out for fresh air, he had come out to give her his jacket. So it was true that he hadn't treated her that bad recently, but today was particularly nice. Tian Hao started to waver. She really didn't want to argue about what happened that night of his birthday and would have been glad to comfortably and harmoniously get along with him. Yet she was also afraid of when he would suddenly become cold and heartless again. Her feelings were extremely complicated. In the end, Tian Hao, who was weak from surgery, fell asleep once again. This time, Tian Hao only took a short nap. She woke up at 7-something in the evening. As she ate lunch a little late, she wasn't hungry, and so she sat in her bed watching TV. When it reached 9-something at night, she then had dinner. At 11, Lu Jinian ordered Madame Chen downstairs to make her a cup of hot milk. Madame Chen said she would do so, and went into the kitchen. When she opened TH's fridge to get milk, she remembered that Tian Hao had brought home Swallow's Nest a few days ago, so she turned her head, asking Lu Jinian, "Mr. Lu, there's Swallow's Nest at home, would you like me to heat it up for supper?" Lu Jinian answered from upstairs, walking out from his study, "Heat it up just for the missus." "Mr. Lu, you're not eating it?" "But the missus brought the Swallow's Nest home." "Missus bought it?" Lu Jinian asked Madame Chen. His footsteps halted, and he stood listening, interested. He turned his head and looked down the stairs. It didn't seem like Mrs. bought them. Madame Chen wasn't particularly clear on the whole story, and so she hesitated to speak out of turn. Mrs. brought them back from set one day, and also, they were unpacked. Brought them back from set. Lu Jinian suddenly remembered that Tian Hao had visited Xu Jiamu in the hospital a few days before, and it was the Xu family's chauffeur who had taken her back to the hotel that night. At the time, he even gave her 2 boxes of something. That day, he sat in the parked car far away, and so he couldn't take a good look at what those 2 boxes were. Could it have been the Swallow's Nest? Lu Jinian furrowed his brows, and as though lightning had struck his mind, a series of thoughts flashed through his head.